With over 15 years of experience, Dr. Riobe has developed a groundbreaking technique in preventing disease and treating illnesses by fusing Eastern and Western medicines. The dynamic, customized approach is effective and safe. She has helped thousands of patients overcome debilitating symptoms and difficult illnesses by addressing the root of the causes, not just masking the symptoms. Let's welcome Dr. Riobe. Doctor, are you on with us?
I am.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell me how and why you merged together Eastern and Western medicines in your practice?
Sure. It was mostly out of frustration. When I graduated from my OBGYN residency, it wasn't quite what I was told it would be. I was able to help very few of my patients because most of them came in with symptoms of fatigue and weight gain and things like depression, anxiety, sleep disturbances, and we just weren't trained appropriately in residency to really properly treat those things. So we ended up using a lot of antidepressants, anxiety medications that weren't really appropriate long term. And it just became a frustration. So I needed to look elsewhere for answers. And my grandmother had instilled in me as a child holistic methods. She would send me out into the yard to look for herbs and different things that she'd grow. And she would make all these concoctions with them. And, back then I didn't really buy into it very much because we come from a very medical family, if you will. But as I got older, I started to look into those things and realized that they were very legitimate. And so that set me on a track to learn traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. So I learned how to use Chinese herbal therapies and acupuncture in my practice. And subsequently also learned what's called functional medicine techniques, which is also a holistic system with more of a European background. And I've infused all three into my practice, and I've been able to help, a lot more people than I would have otherwise been able to help had I just used my strict conventional training.
So tell me, how is it accepted for you by your patients and by your colleagues when you're introducing this new philosophy?
Well, I'm from Florida. We're a very conservative area. So it's taken a little bit of time. It's taken some experience. It's more of an experiential thing for my patients. So they come in, some of them are already very savvy. They've already been in to see other physicians or acupuncturists, or they've been into holistic medicine for years. So they already get it. And then I have another segment of patients who come after they've exhausted all of their conventional medical options and are just coming there in sheer desperation. So we have two types of patients, generally speaking. So for those who already, buy into what I do, it's very simple, and they do feel better and, they get the benefits. For those who come in more out of desperation, it's more of an experiential thing. So once they've been in the program for some time, and they start to see that their symptoms are getting better, and they start to see that abnormal test results are becoming normal, and that their problems are being appropriately addressed, then they start to buy in more and more, and then they start to come as a first option as a last option.
Sure, and I got to tell you, it makes it, I'm sure it's a welcome reception once they see that it's, some of the medications are very scary out there today. I want to address one thing because I know that obesity is a big problem in the U.S. and
Right.
You discuss obesity, and so we're going to in a couple minutes, if you can just kind of give me your interpretation in about 30 seconds, because we're going to take a break, then we're going to come back and talk more about it, about how you deal with some of your clients with obesity problems.
Yeah, obesity, we tend to think of a cause here in the United States and that it's a cause of other problems. I look at it differently. I look at it as an effect of underlying causes. So when we look at obesity, there are several causes of obesity, one being low metabolism. And you can have a low metabolism for many, many different reasons, from vitamin deficiencies, hormone imbalances, toxin buildup and things like that. So that's what actually causes obesity, is a breakdown of metabolism. So when we look at obesity, we have to look at it as a symptom and not as a cause. When we start to see it that way, then we can start to successfully treat it from a root cause basis. So that way people lose weight permanently as opposed to short term like we tend to do with these fad yo-yo diets that many of us have suffered through.
Yeah, we're about to go out to a break, so I wanted to, we'll catch up more about this on the other side of this commercial break. With Dr. Riobe discussing her groundbreaking techniques in merging Eastern and Western medicines. Hi, Doctor. Welcome back.
Hi there. Thank you.
So before the break, we were talking about obesity and weight loss, and there's something I really want to talk about. It's been heavy on my mind. It's been written about extensively about our children today, that they may not live as long as their parents.
Right.
And that's just a very disturbing information to hear.
Well, what's more disturbing is their quality of life. You know, it's not even that they won't live as long. It's for the shorter amount of time that they are expected to live, they're not expected to live well. And that's even more, disheartening, if you will. But there's also a lot of good that can be derived from it, because if we really begin to look at why these children are not expected to live longer, we can reverse the course. And so looking again at the causes of obesity, oftentimes we think people are just lazy or they're making bad food choices and that's why they're gaining weight. You know, when I was a kid, I used to sit in front of the TV and eat an entire box of Captain Crunch in one sitting. I went to McDonald's almost every other day. They fed me pizza at school, and hamburgers and hot dogs. And so I did not become obese.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and so we have to wonder, why is this generation becoming obese eating the same food we ate? You know, and so the answer is not because they're making bad food choices. The answer is because they were not born with a full deck. If you look at what these children are being exposed to before they're even born through the umbilical cord of the mother, it's astounding. So there are many, many studies that have come out now to document this, that our children before they're born are exposed to almost 180 known cancer-causing substances.
Oh, my gosh.
These same cancer-causing substances are the same substances that cause obesity and low metabolism in these children when they're actually born. And so now when they're born under those circumstances, and of course we also know that as adults, we're exposed to those same 180 toxins. So every day we're getting exposed to these things, and every day it's eroding our metabolism and causing us to become more toxic. That is what's causing the childhood obesity syndrome, just the same way it's causing the adult onset obesity syndrome. And so we have to prepare the body in order to deal with these toxins. We have to prepare the body by allowing it to have the right vitamins and minerals and looking at any systems that might be broken as a result of these exposures to repair them. And that's where Chinese medicine and functional medicine are so strong, and that's where our conventional medicine fails, is that we don't believe in causes of obesity. We tend to blame the victims instead of looking at the true causes. And so in functional and in Chinese medicine, we can look at what are the root causes of this condition we call obesity, and how can we successfully treat it. And that also allows the body to recover and get rid of those same toxins that would otherwise accumulate.
I understand, but so much of it comes down to education. And one of the frustrating things is, Jamie Oliver, a chef from the United Kingdom, actually tried to help change the food in U.S. schools. And it was amazing the pushback he got from parents. And I think it's educating those parents. I don't understand it. I don't understand how they were fighting him on trying to feed our children better food.
Yeah. I think part of it's economic. It's cheaper to eat bad food. And so when you're a family on a budget and you only have so much to spend on food, and someone comes in and says, hey, you need to make better choices and you need to eat this food and that food, all of a sudden now they see their budget being blown, basically. And it's frightening for some families because they can't afford to eat properly. So that becomes a choice now. So you have to say, well, do we really need that high cable bill? And do we really need all those bells and whistles on our cell phone features and things like that? Can we cut back?
Yeah.
So they have to make hard decisions. And again, that's where education comes in, showing these parents how they can still properly feed their children and adjust their budgets and not be so frightened by the numbers. Because when you walk into the grocery store and you're not buying garbage at McDonald's,
Doctor,
your bill goes up.
Listen, we could talk all day on this, and I'd love to talk more because educating the public is so important. And we'll have you back on the show to discuss that. But right now, we have to say goodbye, and I appreciate you coming on. And tell us a little bit about how our listeners can find you.
Sure. If you go to RiobeIntegrativemedicine.com, that's our website. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And my book is The Tao of Integrative Medicine that you can also purchase on the website.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And it's very, very important. And I know you have several books out there speaking about this. So you can go to Dr. Riobe's website and buy her book. And let's educate America on these problems. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you so much.